Brookhaven, this is your club.
That's right. This is the club. This is our club.
I got to say, it's an amazing job. This is second year here.
Year 2.
And improvements have been made, I got to say. And music's good, food's good, everything. You know, you've done a great job. The facility's beautiful. You've got multi-sports here, tennis, pickleball, padel.
Yep.
Couldn't ask for more. So it's fantastic. We've got this men's round of 16, our number 7 seed. But actually, I'm reading we've got our wrong on the mic right there. We got Garnett and Loong. I'm sorry, against Hayden, Patriquin, and Riley Newman. So there we go. And we've got it switched up.
They fixed it.
They fixed it. We've got our number 7 and number 9. So this is one of those matches we always talk about who should win. You know, what do you think? But this could go either way.
Coin flip.
It's you know, Garnett, just one of the most wicked backhands out there. Hayden, you know, so athletic and strong. You know, lefty with Loong, kind of veteran of the game with, I mean, Riley Newman. It's going to be a good match. Either way, whatever happens, I'll be happy.
I think it's going to be good. We're going to see some good shots like that one we just saw right there.
Absolutely. Just 4 really athletic guys on this court.
And 2 ATP was nice.
And that's something that, you know, Riley Newman's going to keep doing. If he can catch Connor while he's running to the net, that's the time to drive at him, because it's just going to jam him up.
Connor's a player that's maybe a little bit better in the body when he's stationary at the net than on the way in.
Absolutely. It's
like most of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's this thing that, you know, people always, I've got to run to the net, I've got to get there as fast as I can, and that's exactly when you drive it at them. when you've got someone running fast and they're still on the move, that is when you go after them. This is definitely one of the courts. I mean, you got all 4 guys who all use one-handed and two-handed backhands. Now that's two-handed around the post, and then Loong coming in and clearing that ball. Great coverage.
That was a good kind of settle-in point, too, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, you see one of those settle-in points right there where they're actually getting their footing.
Yeah. And this is, you know, because you got Loong and Garnett, players both come from the same area, practice together a lot, know each other really well. And then this side of the court, not sure how many times they've played together, actually.
I can't imagine H and Riley have played a ton together.
I am, you know, was a little surprised, but so, you know, Riley plays a lot of different guys, and, you know, H is so athletic. It's he had a great mixed match with Jesse Irvin earlier today.
They're a good team. A little short on that reset for Tyler.
2-1-1.
And again, that's Riley using that drive while Garnett's trying to get into position.
Even on the odd, trying to unwind there too, makes it extra tough.
That's, again, just how
Weaker
much,
return there, though.
Yeah, he's going to really take advantage of that as often as possible.
4-1-1.
Great defense, but great offense as well. I don't even know how Riley hit those 2 kind of backwards I don't want to call him a backhand, but it was like a backwards forehand.
Yeah. His other forehand.
His other. Again, just great coverage, and you see both Garnett and Loong really being aggressive, you know, trying to take up space, but they're also opening up a good amount of court. So if they're taking that ball, it really better be a winner. Otherwise, that's going to happen over and over. And you can feel those wind gusts too, so you know, they definitely do need to make those adjustments.
1-5-1.
Confusion there on that middle.
Yeah, just kind of see, you know, because you know, Newman's really been probably taking more of those balls in the middle.
Right.
So, and that kind of goes to show you, like, is that something because they haven't played together very often? You know, Newman's not exactly known to be a big communicator on the court.
It looked like he gave H that that's your ball next time. Look.
Yeah. Look. Yeah.
That's his communication.
Yep.
Those eyes say a lot sometimes.
Absolutely.
Lefty
Oh,
save.
Lefty save, yeah. And just, yeah, it's, again, we got kind of 4 guys that really do bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
And that can often kind of cause some errors when you get caught just moving the wrong way.
Just a little wide. It is still impressive that that young man with his size he's just a testament to like technique and speed and ability and quickness over size.
Yeah, we talk about, you know, so much about the importance of compact strokes, and we see it develop much more with the younger players because so many players like myself and pretty much most of these on the court come from tennis and you know used to that bigger swing. With some of these younger players that kind of haven't had as much racket work, it's almost better because they're knowing it's important to have that short backswing. It's better for preparation. It's better from those hand speed battles. We don't actually need a big swing to generate power, contrary to what most people think.
You think they just have a lucky opportunity to have an original muscle memory, so to speak?
Yeah.
Sort of new learned secondary muscle memory.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of wind, a little bit of timing.
A lot of points on the unwind of the return stack on that third drive here today.
Absolutely, and that's something, you know, we talk about the serves are getting so big, the returns are getting so big, so you're seeing that, okay, maybe we don't need to be switching every single time. It's a bigger conversation now, so we're seeing a lot more players being like, hey, I've got to learn to play both sides of the court because there are times in matches that I need to be able to, you know, we can't unwind. So you either give up points or you learn to play a side you're not comfortable with.
Yep. That's the second or possible third aggressive ATP that Connor's had.
Like Connor with that two-handed backhand is dangerous anywhere on the court.
Riley's going to have to go a little bit deeper with that cross-court dink and less linear, less cross-court, less thin maybe.
Absolutely. That's just being big in the middle, trying to close this gap, get the ball back. It's a 4-point difference, but that doesn't mean much, as we know.
You wouldn't think that. You'd think it was neck and neck the way that the points have been looking.
Yep. And that really comes down to exactly what you were saying, is that it's too many points being won on the unstack and just easy points.
Yeah.
Whereas most of these points are not easy points, but the scoring has been happening on those.
Tyler's one of those players that's been around for a while and kind of like always flirted with that top echelon and peaked in it a little bit. Great player, couple of podium finishes, always in the mix.
Let's go, H.
A little bit newer player, but really big serve, risen a lot over the last year or so.
7-3-1.
Things are going deeper now.
Yeah, staying away from that around the post, trying to get him. It might ward his forehand. That's the reality, is because Connor Garnett is going to want to hit that backhand as much as he can. So getting him to hit more of a dink on that forehand is going to make him a little less dangerous.
Probably nice having a lefty next to you when you like your backhand more.
Absolutely.
On the left side.
Yeah. And that's, you know, a good example. You know, Hayden probably could have gone around the post there, so, you know, Connor did go to cover it. And and that's something we're seeing more and more is, yes, it may be a possibility to go around the post, but it's covered so well. So maybe get them out of position, then go back cross court or pull something a little bit more unexpected. And that is that's classic Riley Newman right there with that little two-handed punch. And
Probably just stretch the court a little bit wider.
Yeah, I mean, they really just, I think they got to move the ball a little bit more. I mean, they're really playing Riley Newman a lot. I think that ball movement is key to kind of create that opportunity, but they don't seem to be being willing to be in that point long enough. That's a great
perfect example of what you talked about. He just teed off mid-court on a decent off-speed ball. Then there's not a lot of leverage in his shot there. You know you have good hands when you'll softly put a ball in the middle like that at the pro level. At least you guys aren't afraid of dinking middle at all.
You know, I think that's an excellent point because there's a massive misconception that balls should go in the middle all the time. But the reality is that the middle it's what we want. That's your attackable space. It's, you know, if you get a ball in the middle, it's going to come back, and often it's a bait ball. So, you know, you look at a lot of us, yes, we're dinking in the middle. The expectation is it's probably coming back fast. Whereas a lot of times at the amateur level, they think, oh, I should be going in the middle all the time.
Because it confuses them.
Yeah, I hate that. You know, it's, you can't rely on confusion. Yeah, I always tell my students, you can rely on basic geometry of a ball going from A to B. You cannot rely on people.
Math is strong.
Math is strong. I'm terrible at math, but I'm good at it here in this case.
Yeah.
I know how to use it here. I'm like, math doesn't lie, but people do. You can't rely on that. And so, you know, people worry a lot about the middle, but it's about making the middle taking ownership of it. I want the middle. If I hit the ball in the middle, I'm expecting the ball to come back into the middle. It's who's covering the middle. That's the problem. And it often comes down to, when you look at these four guys too, they're not shuffling back and forth. They're not trying to cover a lot of extra space, and that is something that a lot of players overmove. They feel like they're supposed to be shadowing and, you know, shuffling all the time, but what that actually does is limit your ability to be aggressive in the middle. It gets people caught in their backhands and their body off balance, and you know, it's why we look at the forehand being such an offensive state in the middle, because you want to take a forehand. When people are moving too much, they end up taking way more backhands.
These guys are so athletic, though. They can be a little bit more solid in their position and then move if they need to be, right?
Yep, exactly. And it's just more efficient that way, so you can actually see the ball a little bit better. It's more about knowing when you hit a ball somewhere, this is where it's coming back. And that's a great acceleration. And they're finally off the three.
And 0 backswing on that put away by Riley, right?
Yep.
4-8-2. Let's go.
Upset.
Let's go.
Championship board, by the way.
Well, what just happened?
Klinger and Loong took out the Johns brothers, 11-1, 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's second upset for
second upset for Ben.
today.
Michael Lloyd. Took him out in singles today. You know, I think what's great about that is we're seeing all these new players with skill. You know, for the spectators, I think they want to see more players out there playing on different courts, and I think I love seeing new names out there, seeing what possibilities. Kate Fahey, a great new player out there. She took out Paris Todd earlier today in her singles.
Kate Fahey is scrappy. She's a
She is a beast, I will tell you that. Like, it's super nice, but when she is on the court, she is intense and a beast. She's doing a great job. So it's great seeing these new players, different teams, different setups, and it's more fun to watch. And as we know, next year all of these matches are going to be on Pickleball TV. Every pro match is filmed, so spectators at home can watch Grandstand 1, Grandstand 2, everything.
You'll be very happy. One for each one. You always say no. Yeah. Your default is no.
Patience here on this point for a change.
Do you think they need to be playing Hayden more to that forehand, trying to pull him just like they did there?
Like your whole stash in your backpack? Like shit.
Let's go, Riley.
That's a good spot.
And just like in that right there, I just think Garnett and Loong were too far from each other.
Yeah.
So, Loong probably should have been in front rather than all the way up and on the line while Loong was at the baseline. She's a little unlucky. Absolutely read it.
I forgot how much you can get away with because no one's paying attention. So was that bitch Paris next to us? I think he might have been. Because they live in Texas, don't they? Riles!
5+ volley battle there. It's pretty nice.
And it's kind of what I was saying. It's at this level you have to be in it for 3, 5, 7, 8. You've got to be in it for the long haul when you're in a hand speed battle.
So hungry.
That's a great reset.
And, I mean,
There's number 4.
there it is. I mean, Connor's going to take that as often as he can. It wasn't even like H gave him a lot of opportunity,
No,
but
it was thin.
just enough.
Made it.
Garnett can really turn a ball into and around the post more than others.
So what? Nuh-uh. You're going to miss?
Just a little bit too high. I mean, Newman's going to be able to just reach in and
To your point, they're not unwinding the stack on this receive this time. You'll notice Riley staying on the right, at least when he was returning.
Yeah. And there he is again.
You have to listen to product.
I think that's important. The willingness to adjust.
Yeah.
Requirements.
There's always a hesitation on should we change it up, should we not? If you're thinking it, there's probably a reason why you're thinking it, right?
Exactly.
Before you go to that, would you have the balls to give me some?
Tyler's going to go big on that every time.
Go, 8.
Yeah, he's definitely a player that's known to use that early very, very often. I gotta say, look at these crowds coming around us. More and more spectators out here. It's the first time we've really seen Patriquin be aggressive in those big courts.
Yeah.
And now we're pretty reliable.
True.
There
On both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyler's been talking about on this podcast lately, but he's really a bigger fan of the drive now. He's doing a lot of aggressive drives, it seems like.
Point a lot. We've got the paddle technology. There's so much more power with these paddles. We know there are issues with paddles, legalities, and all that. We're not going to
We're past that.
But it is what it is. So yes, it's hard. I mean, you've got so many paddles out there, and this sport is growing so fast. It's pretty difficult to regulate consistently. Once we get out of the round of 64, all of our paddles are tested. We get that little sticker that shows that we're legal or not. The referees check for it. But what it's done is it's changed the game a little bit. It's being willing to go for a little bit more. Still, drops and drives are extremely important, drops and dinks. I'm sorry.
They'll always be there, but
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, people ask me all the time, or is the day of the dink over? I'm like, well, are you watching? Because it's not. Like, it's still there. It's just that we're seeing longer points, more athletic points, powerful, and a lot of that does have to do with paddles. I'm not gonna lie. It's fantastic. I mean, you think about how sturdy Riley is when he's hitting that ball, which is actually giving him more power as well.
I think leverage changed 3 times in that firefight. That was impressive.
If you watch H when he's going for it, he held so well. You know, he held that backhand extremely well. I mean, I'd say all 4 of these guys, he probably does that the best on this court.
Just really young, athletic wrists there, you know?
Yeah.
The torque.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is people think it's all wrist, but it's a loose grip in your fingers, letting your fingers do the work, rather than, you know, people start to hold it really tight and then they try to flick it with their wrist. And that's not exactly efficient or consistent.
He's staying away from that corner.
I mean, sick is it? Like beyond that line, they're not bad. At least for that.
But then I made it to work the next day before carrying.
Stretched him too thin there, maybe?
Except right there, it just wasn't the right time. It was almost like, wow, this point's elongated. What do I do now, kind of thing. And that's
I think he was just coming up for air, you know? It's like, I gotta come up for air.
and that's how Riley Newman finishes this game after all these points. I mean, but pre-COVID, a long time, and you know, back in the day, and now you're running this and doing great things. So that's amazing.
It's fun stuff, you know. We're very blessed, you know. When I got here, we had 4 pickleball courts and players, and it's just slowly grown.
Yeah, like everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's like wildfire. People thought I was crazy when I quit my career to go into pickleball from the educational side. They were like, what are you doing? And I was like, you don't get it, man. And here we are.
Here we are, doing it for a living. At the end of the day, we're playing pickleball. That's kind of what I tell people. So it's when you get to that's the 2-handed ATP we're talking about from Garnett, but Patriquin knows
Saves
it's coming.
it that
He
time.
just knows it's coming.
He's now on it.
Oh gosh, there's that third ball that he was able to sustain for 2, but that third ball coming in.
I don't necessarily know if there's a difference of win and other on either side here, if there's an advantage or not.
Yeah, it's definitely been not super consistent. It's rolling a little bit, so.
Come on, Connor. Really affected the drives though, so I don't think it's much.
Oh my goodness! And mind you, so that was exactly the play that Riley Newman just did on game point, that Garnett did, and then Hayden comes up with just a ridiculous, maybe accidental
winner on the elbow.
Yeah,
winner on the elbow.
Yep. Again, that's a prime example. So what we were talking about earlier. So Hayden hits a dink down the middle, and Garnett speeds it up. That's the expectation. So Hayden's ready for that ball. He wants it to come to him, and just mistimed it. That's all. But I think that again goes to show you how many shots ahead most players are. You know, it's a dink is about setting up the point to create something.
Are you trying to tell me that people are dinking with purpose here? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I am trying to say that without, because I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I hear people say that dinking. I'm like, but what does that mean? Yeah. And so that can be tricky.
Yeah!
And the most common answer would be, well, it depends.
Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, there's not a one-size-answer-fits-all. There's predictability and ball movement, but I got to stress the importance of moving the ball and using the entirety of the court, not just a quadrant of the court. That just fantastic loose extension on that one-handed backhand.
Right now, take it
It seems like Hayden might be getting a little bit more involved now than he was in the first game, playing a little bit looser.
He's a little more off balance than I thought he would be on that volley, right?
Exactly.
He seemed to like float back there instead of like float right.
It was almost like he was just watching his shot there, which is not like him. And that's something we've seen Garnett, kind of try to do mid-court. And the first game you're seeing right here, they're trying to do a lot of speed ups on those fists. I just don't think it's been as effective as it should be. And if it's not effective, it's going to change. And so I'm wondering if they're just going to keep doing the same thing and see if it starts working, or
They look like they're on skates over here right now.
kind of.
They're all over the place, but they're not getting anything from it.
Yeah.
So I bought Tesla last year again.
And he's a kid. Like, I do think he can.
Oh, goodness. I mean, that's great coverage. It goes to show you how much core coverage Bradley Newman has, but just ready for it and amazing hand speed. This is kind of Riley stepping up, and you saw that last couple points in the first game. He's starting to step up, a little bit more dynamic on the court, and kind of anticipating that he's going to just keep doing that in this game, and that's going to be a hard train to stop for Garnett.
Definitely a momentum player.
And that right there, just like I was saying, how long he held that backhand before he hit that speed up. So he's almost getting Garnett to commit to something and causing that error.
He's on it again.
Outside,
I mean, just so many more speed ups coming from Hayden Patriquin right now. He's feeling confident with that ball. And
I have bad bunions. Wish they'd disappear.
Lapiplasty.
Sup? Future me? And no bunions! How?
Lapiplasty.
Lapiplasty corrects bunions at the source, meaning you're back in sneakers in weeks.
Lapiplasty.
Weeks! The future of bunion surgery is here. Learn more at lapiplasty.com. Risks include infection, pain, and loss of correction.
But at the end of the day, they're playing two what I would call very stoic, consistent players that have the offense and the defense.
Absolutely. I mean, just the hand speed on the other side of the court, the athleticism, just it's a tough battle. And maybe this is where that 80%, the 84% prediction is coming from, because we're seeing that whole way here in the second game.
He did a good job going down the line there on H. Absolutely. H was out of position for that, so that's good. Inside out. Catch a few breaks maybe here to get some momentum going.
A rare error, but at least it got him off a 2.
prioritization of alcoholics today, cat, wrist,
That's the first time they've been successful doing that.
But that fifth crash was like 3 feet further in.
There you go. There's your difference, because they're trying to speed it up from their shoes, basically, before. But that's not going to be super consistent.
pair. This is kind of what they did in the first game, though. They came back, it was 8-7 at some point, I feel like.
Come on, Daddy.
Honestly, and that's a ball. So Loong popped it up just a little bit.
Ball.
Almost.
Texas.
Just an unfortunate time after that timeout. And that's always the hardest point to win, is the point after your opponent just took a timeout. I mean, great idea. If you would have made that, that would have been amazing. Did not pay off, though, and they get a quick side out for Newman and Patriquin to get the ball back in their hands. Newman was on that, and then you just get bad luck with the net.
I know they lost that point, but I think the defense they displayed in that point is why they're winning right now.
Absolutely.
The other team's going to keep attacking. Their defense isn't as good. I think H.N. Riley's defense is just better. They're all offensive.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's what we're saying. And that's how we are in the game today. You've got to have both. You've got to be able to be defensive on and offensive. And they've got their lead back, which is what they want.
I mean, I love Daisy too.
This is a city. You get away from the city and go to
And we talked about this earlier, that there's a lot of point issues on the unstack. Garnett did make a great adjustment there coming in. He slowed down, so he wasn't
Fifth, and they've kept the fifth away from the crasher, and that's how they kind of like slowed them down a little bit.
Yeah.
Go, Garner!
Another successful timeout.
It just goes to show you how important these are to a tactical standpoint for us. Just a phenomenal reaction.
The second one was even better than the first one.
I know, right? It was kind of a forehand. I mean, he's definitely leans predominantly to his backhand for that flick, but had to hit a forehand there, which absolutely the right thing. And there's a speed up in the air, which we do not see a lot from him. I'm glad he did that.
Right here, get it back, let's go.
Does that need to be off speed instead?
Really, you know, there wasn't very much pace on that dink in the first place.
Right.
And so that's now giving Garnett just not much to work with, so he just has to do more in that situation. You know, he can't just kind of deflect. And essentially when someone's just kind of crouching down low, there's no weight transfer.
Right.
So it often could just die on the paddle. So they did save one match point, but we've got another one right here. And there is, again, you're seeing Newman finish off those games being aggressive.